Minister, Waterford North Quays is the site of a proposed £350 million regeneration project, which will be what can only be described as a game changer for Waterford. This opportunity has presented itself for Waterford through the hard work and efforts of Waterford City and County Council under the leadership of CEO Michael Walsh. The proposed investment in Waterford City by the Allocair Group from Saudi Arabia has provided a much-needed confidence boost for the city of Waterford and indeed the whole South East. The proposed development at a cost of £350 million will be a game-changer for Waterford. The South East absolutely needs a regional city of consequence, and that must be Waterford. Waterford must be enabled for propulsive growth. For regions to be strong regions, Minister, regions need a strong city. But this project is so much more. This project has the additional potential to place an emphasis on additional permanent services such as healthcare, education, transport. The economic benefits will be significant. The proposed development will happen on approximately 17 acres of substantial and spectacular river frontage. The proposal includes development of a total of 60,000 square metres to include retail units, leisure, office space, 200 apartments and a relocated train station, which will result in an integrated transport hub. This will have the effect of providing a sustainable transport corridor, improving access from north to south by creating a pedestrian bridge linking the North Quays to the South Quays and the remainder of the city centre. This development will also, I believe, act as a catalyst for other developments like the Ardree Hotel and the Michael Street Shopping Centre. The North Quays development will provide an increase of 50% in Waterford's retail offering. It is envisaged that 2,300 direct jobs will be created on completion of the project. Under the National Planning Framework, Waterford Metropolitan Area has been designated for population growth of up to 30,000. If Waterford is to realise this aspiration, there is no doubt that the development of the North Quays is crucial to achieve this growth. In 2017, Waterford City and County Council applied for funding of £20.1 million from the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund for the first phase of this development. It received £6 million, well short of what is required. This is incredibly disappointing. The government hyped up their support for this project consistently, and now the city community has been once again left shortchanged. The government must accept that life exists outside of the M50. Waterford can, and I believe must, act as a release valve for the pressure that is building in the capital. The City and County Council have done an amazing job in getting the project to the current stage, with the support of politicians, the Waterford Chamber of Commerce, the Allocair Group and other stakeholders. We need now to see how serious the government views promoting regional economic development. What we need to see now is certainty and indeed commitment by the government to progress this invaluable project. These are the key words here: certainty, commitment and a time frame to progress the project. Certainty to enter into contracts is required, Minister, relatively soon. The investors are committed, the local authority are committed, the people of Waterford City and County are committed. Now we need the absolute commitment from government. At a time of economic growth, of balanced budgets, commitment is needed from government.
Thanks, Councillor Curla. Again, I want to thank Deputy Butler for raising this issue. I think it's a very important matter, and it gives us the opportunity to discuss the North Quays project in Waterford, and in particular Waterford and City Council's successful bid for the funding for the North Quays under the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund. It's a project I'm very familiar with. I've met a lot of the stakeholders involved in this on a few occasions over the last couple of years, and it's a very worthy project, and I think you've outlined it quite well. But I think it's an essential part of the region, not just Waterford City and Waterford County, but I think of the region, and I think we recognise that in Project 2040 and our plans there, and the National Planning Framework, the importance of having regional bases like Waterford and a city to serve that region and to help it grow and so on. So that's what we're recognising that, and it's important that we do that. And again, with 2040, we're taking that long-term view of how do we plan to shift population growth in the future away from the East Coast and away from necessarily Dublin, and build up the cities so they can compete nationally among ourselves, that those cities can compete, but also over time to have an international footing as well. And I think Michael Walsh, the CEO, has done a great job in working with everybody to make this happen and put it on the map and put it as a plan. And naturally, we all know that it will take time for it all to roll out, but I think there's been great work being done and been led by local authority, which I think development should happen and should be led by them, and they've done that as well. And again, had cooperation from various governments at the time as well, over all the years as well. The North Quays in Waterford was subject to a strategic development zone order made by government in 2016, recognising the social and economic importance of this flagship brownfield site to the state, and designating the Waterford North Quays for mixed-use development, subject to the preparation of an SEZ planning scheme, which has been done. And again, I've met Senator Paddy Coppins a couple of times as well. That was a very, very important issue when he was there in that department, that this would happen as well. And I think it's important that designation did happen and did come as enabling all the plans for the future. The National Planning Framework, launched early in 2018 as part of Project Ireland 2040, includes objectives to achieve both more compact urban growth within Ireland's cities and the significant further development of Waterford City. Forward to the NPF, a 10-year urban regeneration and development fund worth €2 billion to 2027 was established, with €550 million of committed executive grant funding available to 2022. Bids were invited from public bodies throughout Ireland for funding under the URDF. Waterford City and County Council submitted a bid for €104.5 million of grant funding in September 2018, seeking a sum of €20 million for 2019. The Waterford North Quays bid was made as a Category A proposal on the basis of development being ready to go in 2019 and to continue in the years immediately after. I was well recognised that Waterford as a city were well prepared for funds like this, but I also want to point out that they were moving these plans on before any fund was established, and that's the key to that as well. It wasn't that they have to have a fund to make this happen. They were very much getting on with the plans, making this happen, and had big visions there. Thanks to all involved, and certainly the investors who were there as well, who put great work into making this happen too. Bids. In November 2018, my department announced an initial tranche of €100 million, which was awarded to a total of 88 projects throughout Ireland for 2019. The Waterford North Quays project was awarded €6 million for 2019, which is the single largest award made to any bid under the URDF. In comparison, awards made in respect of multiple bid proposals from each of the cities of Cork, Limerick and Galway resulted in awards of €6 to €7 million to each city, for a combined total of 24 projects in 2019. There will be a further call for URDF bids later in the first quarter of this year for funding for 2020. This URDF grant to Waterford, as with other successful bid proposals, is approved in principle, subject to any agreement with my department. Subject to agreement with my department, and may be regarded as a starting point of ongoing support for a significant city centre urban renewal project. As a successful Category A project, the award signals commitment to further funding in future years. The overall URDF fund will increase for 2020, and it is expected that the large integrated multi-annual urban projects will comprise a greater element of future overall allocations, as these more complex proposals require significant time for design, planning, procurement and construction to be advanced properly. I have more to say, but I'm conscious I'm eating into the time, so
You'll have 2 minutes later. Thanks, Minister.
Minister, it is very important to state that it would be extremely unlikely that this project would get over the line without state funding. And I do welcome what you have said there. The overall URDF fund will increase for 2020, and it is expected that large integrated multi-annual urban projects will comprise a greater element of future overall allocations. But we have to look at where we came from. And as you said, we were ahead of the pack on this. Michael Welsh and Waterford City and County Council had their plans in place. And when you stop and look at the amount of money that was allocated, you have to look at the overall picture and the catalyst the North Quays will be for the whole South East region. We look at the likes of Cork and Limerick, who are already doing very well. We look at the likes of Galway. But this absolute game changer of a project has to be recognised. Minister, 13 million is required in 2019 to start the process, and a commitment of 30 million for each of 2020, 21 and 22 is required. But Minister, I just want to say a lot of the infrastructure development which will be involved in this project would have had to come in the future anyway. And what this project is doing is it's accelerating the hugely important infrastructure, increasing the connectivity between the north and the south of the city. Sustainable transport infrastructure is at the essence of this project, and development of this site can and will act as a catalyst for the city and county of Waterford. The employment opportunities, the housing opportunities, the health opportunities cannot be underestimated. We're constantly talking about cardiac care in Waterford. We're constantly talking about a university for the South East. This North Quays development will act as a catalyst for all these things, because we will have population growth, we will have Waterford and the South East acting as a release valve for Dublin and for the overcrowding that goes on here. But I just have to reiterate again, in order to sign contracts and move forward, we need a time frame, we need certainty, and we need commitment.
Again, without doubt, there's many opportunities for the city and for the region from the North Quays project, and it's something that I think is a major project of significance, without a doubt. And I compliment all involved in getting it this far. The proposal that came forward this time included 4 very significant elements of enabling infrastructure, which, together with the total amount of lifetime URDF grant funding sought, are: 1, the relocation of the city's railway station to the east to form a new public transport interchange, circa around 35 million. A new pedestrian, cyclist, public transport bridge over the River Suir and associated urban greenway, 33+ million. Site access roads and road alignment, 26.8 million. And off-site roads in the wider north bank of the sewer area in Kilkenny, around 10.3 million. I'm conscious of the Kilkenny people in the room here as well. We mentioned Kilkenny too, because this project again serves the area very, very well. All of these infrastructural projects will open up and make more accessible the North Quays site and enable the STZ planning scheme to be realised. Further discussion with the local authority and other relevant agencies, such as the Department of Transport, Tourism and Sport and the National Transport Authority, is ongoing to conclude the grant agreement for 2019 in the context of a project lifetime commitment for future years, which is yet to be agreed, subject to necessary public spending code and state aid considerations. I can confirm that for approved Category A projects, such as the Waterford North Quays, subject to a grant agreement being entered into that will result in ongoing multi-annual contracts starting in 2019, there will be a commitment to the agreed executor share of such contracts for future years. I also want to confirm at this stage that there is priority commitment to funding an excess of 6 million for infrastructure to enable the mixed-use development of the Waterford North Quays project as well. So again, I want to thank the Deputy for raising this project. I want to reiterate the Government's ongoing commitment to the future development of Waterford as one of Ireland's principal cities and as a regional growth driver for the South East, and I can't be any clearer on that as well. We're discussing today one fund under the Project 2040. There's many other funds, many other ways of accessing money as well, and it's important that the Quays project looks to them all, which I don't doubt they will, and will probably apply in different areas as well. So I'm glad that we are able to kick-start it with funding through this scheme, but there are many other ways to fund this as well as all the different private capital and private money you're bringing into the system as well. But it's a great project and something that as a government will be fully looking forward to working with the local authority on, our in constant engagement with Waterford City and County Council on this project too.